Good day, everyone, and welcome to another segment on the bench. Today I'm going to tie you up a Semperfli perch. This is a fly I'm going to tie you all with the new Semperfli materials they sent me. It's a nice chunky little replica of the perch. Nice chunky little fella here. It's only a 4-inch fly. It's going to be easy to cast. And this predator fibers I'm using here sheds water really nice, retains the shape in the water. And it's going to be pretty user friendly. You can throw this one with a 8 or 9 weight rod. I'm sure you'd have no trouble at all. Okay, let's go over the materials we need. Basically the predator fibers I'm going to be using here. I've got the bullfrog color here. It's got a bit of a blend. I'll pick through that when I tie. I got white. I've got some orange and some tan. And then for flash, I'm going to be using the Gala and Green blend over the top, and I'm going to be using the Rio Grande Gold blend over the sides. So that's a nice flash material. Use a little Semperfli resin on the head, and we'll use some marine goop to attach the eyes, and also a chart marker here, black. Get their ribbing on, and Bob's your uncle. That's a pretty easy little fly. It's got a nice shape, pushes some water. These baitfish, the way I tie them, for some reason they do like to swim. They will dart back and forth a little bit, but I like a nice light fly like this that'll stay in the zone in front of a fish for as long as I can. Any predators, I like these neutral buoyant flies. We'll get a hook in the vise here. So I straighten out my jaws. Okay, and then the hook I'm using in this, the 4-aught laser sharp from Eagle Claw. You can use anything similar to that. I use nice sharp hooks, similar to that, owners or whatever. There's a lot of really good hooks out there, so use sharp hooks. Don't want to cheap out on that. And then I'm just going to be on the front. I'm using my dome eyes. These are ultra eyes, green, red, black, 7/16. Nice large eye. That's really the target. And put them on last. I'll get them out of the way. And the thread I'm using here is a classic wax thread. This is a 6/0 Semperfli thread, fluorescent green. Use whatever color you like. This is a nice color, good thread, like the old classic threads. Then we'll just take a pinch. This is my tan. I'm taking just a little pinch of this off, and then I'll double it over. Just cut it in half, and then I'll tie, make sure our ends are a little bit tapered. Tie to the middle on each side. And we're coming ahead of the bend here a little bit. This fly will not foul either. It's going to retain the shape. It's going to look like a bait fish all day long. Don't need to worry about it changing in the water. It's a very nice. I like tying this way. This way I've done my bait fish flies for years. I fold all my materials back over each other, and it keeps it stronger. There's a lot of other materials I could use that are really funky sometimes, but it's really key that we have materials that will be strong, and not when they get chewed up by these pike and other predator species, we don't have to look for another fly because yours is all chewed up. I'm just going to come on each side, just kind of envelope that around. It's a nice, really nice material. A little more on that side. And I'm going to put more over top after I'm done. Get some good turns on that. Okay. And then I'll come in here with my bullfrog material. It's quite a nice, look at all the different color blends in there. So what I'll do is I want to get a little lighter on the bottom. I'm getting some more of that lighter yellowish greens, little blend there. It's a nice little mix. I like that. That's a good idea. That blended, I always like blended colors. I always do with my dubbings and stuff too. I like blending them. So we'll just tie that in on top corner, just ahead of where that last batch stopped. And that'll kind of start giving me my contour. My fly tied back over, doesn't need much there to hold it, and it's not going anywhere. You don't need a lot of glue and everything to hold this one together. It's going to be strong. There, we'll take that. Simple flies to catch fish. What's wrong with that? Come in here with my orange. A little bit out of there. Double it over. Again. Taper my ends. Make sure they've got a good taper on them. Come on the bottom corner on each side here. And that should come around halfway up the top. Pretty good. And you should be able to see a nice chunky fish starting to show up here, but remember these perch are so thick, fat little guys. Get the shape and color. You'll see some of that bleeding through the bottom. When it gets wet, you'll see it even more. Okay, then I'll come in with some darker bullfrog now. A little bit of that. Cut it in half again. So when I go 4-inch, I can split my hank half and half, and I just fold it over. If you're going a 6-inch fly, well then that changes these materials. Then you're going to have to tie like a 60-40 and use more. So I'm going to go on top here on the top corner again. Pull this back. This product lays down really nice and tight. You don't need a lot of wraps on it to hold it down. It's getting really thick now. It looks good. Now, because you'll see the top where it's tying over itself, it's kind of, see where we got the corners? I'm going to come over with one more at the top when I'm done. Grab a little white belly, and it won't be much, so I'm just going to take a wee little bit here. And I'll fold it over half. And then chop that again down another half. And so we got quarter length. Then we have the belly. Get a little taper going there. I don't want anything really sticking out too long. If there's anything there, pull it out. That's good. That'll cover up all that underneath. Tie that on the bottom corners again. But you want to make sure that it's sparse, so your orange shows through, and there's something here a little bit there, a little bit longer than I like that. Just slimmed it off, but it's pretty thin, so it'll bleed through and look pretty good. It's a chunky little bait fish for sure. That looks good. And I'll come in with some more of my gold. I'm going to come in with about 4 strands. Gold. Lay that on each side. For your lateral lines, you want to overtake it with flash. Just enough so you can see it. There we go. Then over the top, this bullfrog is good material because I can select the colors I want. Here's some that's almost black. Well, it is black. And dark green. Just going to take a wee little pinch of that. Cut that in half again. Get our taper. Pretty simple. Not hard to tie these flies at all. Kind of like come over the top. And that's basically coming right on the top. Let's see that everything going to blend in. You can brush this with a big brush after to get these fibers. Using the same materials, they blend, they meld together, and they hold. When you use different materials on your flies, they look pretty good in the vise a lot of times. They do everything you want, and then you get them in the water and they separate. They don't have the same characteristics. Something you want to keep in mind. Then the material I really like to use on a lot of my flies for the backs and all over is this Gala and Green blend of this flash. I'm going to take another 4 or so over the top. That is just a unbelievable nice kind of a peacock color. I can see me getting more of that. I'm hooked on that. That's nice. Really does a nice job. So then you can just come in behind the eye and you start building back and getting your head done. You got a 6/0 thread. You can put a fair amount of heat on that, pressure on that. Just gonna, and if I wanted to put a weed guard, I'd have done that right there. What I do is take some 40-pound mono and I just tie it over itself. I'll cut that off. Put a little of my Semperfli UV resin on here. Totally synthetic, so it's nice and light and it dries right off. It doesn't hold any water. And this is going to be a great material. I can't wait to get a bunch of my saltwater flies done with some of this as well. I've been using mostly synthetics and salt. Just because they're light, I can get the bulk I want. Push the water. These fish feel that vibration in the water too, probably as much as anything. And a Northern Pike, definitely, that's one of their best senses. It's just, they feel it coming, and saltwater fish do too. So that's about as bright as I'll ever want to make that. I'll come in with my, I'll just lay these on the bench when I'm done and take a little ruler and my black marker, and then I can get my highlights done. I get down on my materials a little better than doing it like this, but I'll just show you real quick. And the stripes are really important on the perch, because you all know those are all pure iron, so that kind of changes the dynamics of the fly right there, doesn't it? And then we'll come in with my eyes. What I use there is marine goop to put them on. This is marine goop max. It's actually got UV resistant. I've been using marine goop for years. It's been great. I haven't really had any issues with eyes coming off. I don't have to epoxy them on right behind the part of the eye of the hook, like a lot of fly patterns are. I like to put my eyes back, kind of where they belong on the pattern, and where the fish would where they'd be more natural looking. So we just and I use large eyes. I put lots of that goop on there. You can see it just wanting to creep out around the edges. That's the right amount. It's clear and it's not going anywhere. Then I'll get another eye on the other side, of course. We don't want a mutant perch hanging around. We want to put these eyes on the same location. If they have the pupils here, I put the little guy to the back, the narrow side. A friend of mine out of Florida set me up a lot of really nice eyes a few years ago. Bill Baldus, really good. He's a heck of a good tire too. That's got some good fly patterns from Bill, and over the years, Y2K fly fishing. Or no, not Y2K, 10K. Y2K was when all the computers were supposed to crash. He's a 10K fly fishing, 10,000 islands is what that represents from awesome fly fishing. I go down there every winter. Okay, so there we go. Put that down, we'll let her dry. The belly on my baitfish flies are kind of, let's see if you can see that, they're kind of flat. When I tie like that, it seems to want them to hover a little more. I like a fly that I can just leave in the zone, but that's a really nice chunky profile. You bring that towards a pike or whatever, it'll disperse a little water. It's nice and light. You'll throw that with an 8 weight, 10 weight, no problem at all, 9 weights, whatever. You don't need to throw a fly that is 12 inches long or whatever. I mean, they're beautiful looking flies, but nothing wrong with that. That's a good representation of a perch, and you'll catch some very large northerns with that. And it's a little bulkier than I tie a lot of my saltwater stuff, but it's important that you're going after the profile of the bait and the size of the bait. Okay, so there you go. We appreciate you catching this video here today, and we'd like to thank good folks at Semperfli for bringing us those good materials, and excited to try a lot more flies with their materials. Catch you again real soon.